Hey y'all, this is Pastor Bill from Christ Community Church, North Fort Myers, here with your mobile message for this week. This week we're going to be finishing up our series on the Holy Spirit. We're going to be looking in Galatians chapter 5 verses 16 to 26, where Paul talks about walking in the Spirit. 5 things I want you to know about walking in the Spirit. The first is this: walking in the Spirit is going to require a change of perspective. Paul says that when you walk in the Spirit, you will not fulfill the desires or the lusts of the flesh. And it's set up this way on purpose so that you cannot do what you want to do. Paul's clearly illustrating the fact that God's desires and our desires are not always the same thing. And in order to truly walk in the Spirit, we have to ask ourselves, is this God's desire or is this my desire? So walking in the Spirit is going to require that you change your outlook and your perspective. But awesomely enough, secondly, walking in the Spirit brings freedom from legalism. In Galatians 5:18, Paul said that if you are led by the Spirit, then you are no longer under the law. Of course, for a first century Jewish person, this is dynamically huge, because you and every one of your fathers, all the way back to Moses in the book of Exodus, have obeyed the law given by God to Moses. But now that Christ's sacrifice has fulfilled that law, Paul clearly says, if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under the law. Well, we don't have the Old Testament law today, but I think any of us who have ever been to church, been around church, heard a news article about church, would agree that legalism still exists today. Legalism is when people add extra rules and laws onto their view of religiosity and Christianity in order to make themselves more holy by, oh, I don't do this, or oh, I won't do that, or oh, I won't do this. That still exists today. And walking in the Spirit gives you freedom from all that legalism. If you continue reading in this section, Paul then makes a list, and he says, the works of the flesh are these, and he makes a really nice long list of a lot of really cool sounding sinful stuff. What I need you to understand is that to walk in the Spirit, if you're not fulfilling the desires of the flesh, walking and living in the Spirit means you are not living selfishly or self-focused. When you ask yourself, is this God's desire? You cannot also then ask, is it my desire? You can also not be selfish. And if you look at his list, sexual immorality, debauchery, sorcery, he goes on with an entire list. Almost everything, I would say everything on his list is all based in selfishness. Because sin, at its base principle, is selfishness. Sin is saying, no, God, I don't want your plan. I want this and I want it now. So walking in the Spirit means you can no longer be selfish. And then, of course, we get to Paul's famous list of the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And I think all of these fruits, well, I think they have several things in common actually, but the one that I want to share with you today is I believe all of the fruits of the Spirit have to do with other people. You can love others. You can rejoice with others. You can have patience with others. You can have goodness towards others. You can have self-control in the face of others. I think the point of the fruit of the Spirit is to be focused on other people. Because think about, what's fruit really? Fruit is the mechanism by which a plant scatters or shares its seeds. You slice open an apple, normally you're going to core out the seed part of the apple before you eat the rest of the flesh of the apple. Well, the fruit of the Spirit is no different. The fruit of the Spirit contains the seeds that we are to plant in the lives of others. The fifth thing I want you to know about about walking in the Holy Spirit this week is that it should bring unity. Paul says that if we live by the Spirit, let us keep in step with the Spirit. Let us not become conceited. Let us not provoke one another. Let us not envy one another. Walking in the Spirit, especially if we're in step with the Spirit. I went to military school for 3 years. I understand what it means to walk in step with someone else. It means your strides are the same. It means your heels are hitting the ground at the same time. 3 people cannot be in step and not so the final thing I want you to know about walking in the Spirit this week is it should bring unity between you and other people who are walking in the Spirit. If there are 3 Christians together and all 3 are in step with the Spirit, then they will by proxy all be in step with one another. I hope that this message has helped you this week. This whole series has really taught me some things about who the Holy Spirit is, but more importantly, how I can interact with him in my life. If there's anything that we can pray for you for, if we can help you in any way, please go to our website, c3family.org. The bottom of the homepage, there's a link to email our church office. Email, let me know what we can do for you. Other than that, I hope you have a great week. We'll see you next time.